UCLA volunteers, welcome back, welcome back. It's great to have you back again and working with our kids, our middle school kids in our community. So we're really excited to be partnering and collaborating this year. So with that said, we've come up with some great activities for you to work with while you're working with the kids in the classrooms. Now, mentors, so I'm going to call you guys mentors. You will be our UCLA mentors. Don't forget, when you first come into the classroom, the kids are going to be a little nervous, a little shy, so hopefully as you go through all the activities that we have mapped out for you, by the time you get to the end of your session, everybody will have opened up and would have had a great time, and the kids would have felt inspired. So with that said, I want to make sure that you guys remember to inspire higher learning. So you guys are coming from UCLA, you're coming into the inner city and working with kids who don't have a lot of positive role models, or folks in their family who have graduated from high school or have gone on to college. So don't forget, take advantage, seize the moment, and try to inspire our kids to go to an institution like UCLA that's right here in their backyard. All right? So keep that in mind as we're going through the activities. Again, they're going to be a little shy, so we're going to start trying to break the ice. So we're going to start with trying to remember each other's name. So we're going to do a fun name game. And remember, try to remember those names when you can, so we have a fun, creative way of trying to help you memorize their names so that the kids feel special. So, you know, when someone knows your name, it feels like you've invested the time to remember it, and then that way, you know, when you're working with the kids, you can call them out personally by their names instead of saying, hey, you, or you come over here, but you can specifically say, Will, come over here, Patty, come over here, or whatever those names are, all right? So let's start. So our first one is called the name game. It's actually called Remember Me. So you're going to think of an adjective that starts with the same letter of your first name. So you'll think of an adjective that starts with the same letter as your first name. So here's my little e.g., Silly Susan, all right? Silly Susan. Naturally, there's an S. Her adjective is silly, so Silly Susan, all right? That's pretty simple. I think we can do that. Next, Silly Susan needs to come up with a gesture. So again, we're trying to really make sure we're giving you enough ammunition to remember everybody's name. So she would come up with a gesture. So she would say her name was Silly Susan, and then she would have to have some silly gesture, whatever that gesture may be. All right? So she would go first. So let's say Silly Susan was first. Then the person to the right would go next. And then they would have to introduce Silly Susan before they introduce themselves, all right? So remember that. So Silly Susan, let's say she's the one kicking it all off. She would introduce herself with her gesture. Then the person to the right would then introduce Silly Susan, tell the group, everybody, I want you guys to meet Silly Susan. And then they would introduce themselves. So let me give you another quick little snapshot of what that looks like. So let's say I'm in the group and I'm the third person in the circle, all right? We're standing in a circle. If I failed to mention that, we're standing in a circle. So I would say, everyone meet Silly Susan and meet Glamorous Gloria, and my name is Wacky Will. And then I would do my little wacky dance or whatever. And that's how we go. So we would just keep going around the circle. Everyone has to introduce everyone who went before them. Now think about this. The last man in the group's got a lot of names to remember. Mentors, I also encourage you to participate because we want them to know your names as well. All right, so we got it? Same letter, first name, right? Adjective that matches the same letter, starts with the same letter. Silly gesture, everyone introduces everyone who went before them. I hope you got it. And if you didn't, we're going to demonstrate it. So I have two fabulous thespians here who actually are part of our LATM team. So we have Melissa and we have Patty, and we're going to go for it. Who wants to go first?
Me.
All right, go for it.
My name is Pensive Patty.
This is Pensive Patty. I am Marvelous Melissa.
Cool. Everybody meet Pensive Patty, Marvelous Melissa, and again, Wacky Will. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And that is how we conclude Remember Me. All right, questions of the day. So, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you've gotten to know your kids a little bit, at least by name, and they've learned your name. Now we want to move on and we want to get to know each other. What's the best way of getting to know each other? By engaging in some great conversation. So in your packets, as you know, if you're following along, we have the questions of the day. And what's the goal of the question of the day? Or the questions of the day, I should say, is allow everyone to open up and engage in some great conversation. So again, it's one of those icebreaker kind of deals where you're throwing out some questions to provoke conversation. Now, UCLA mentors, just make sure for every piece of information shared that you're asking a couple of follow-up questions or some affirmations. So think about that when you're throwing out the questions of the day. Dig a little deeper, ask a couple of questions, just so that there's more conversation than just, a simple statement that's thrown out or a yes or no answer. So keep that in mind, right? We want to stimulate, keep the conversation going, which might require some follow-up questions. So with the questions of the day, we're going to start off with one mandatory question, and that is, what is your dream career and what college do you want to attend to make your dream come true? Remember, we're trying to inspire higher learning, going on to college. It can even be trade school, but just taking their high school education to the next level so that they can, create a career for themselves. So that's your question. So what is your dream career and what college do you want to attend to make your dream come true? I'm sure there's going to be a bit of a UCLA influence, but that's okay. So you're going to start off with that main question, and then we have a list of other questions for you. So feel free to pick whatever one you feel might work for your team. But there's some cute ones, some lighter ones, like what are you wearing today, which is most reflective of who you are. So again, maybe they have some cool kicks on, or some cool laces, or a pair of glasses, or whatnot. And you can ask them, why, is that reflective of who you are? Or a unique item from their backpack and explain why they carry it around. Maybe there's a photo, there's a little stuffed animal, maybe there's just something special that they carry in their backpack. And you can ask them why they carry it around. So again, ladies and gentlemen, questions of the day, just to follow up and starting to get the kids feel comfortable, get that conversation going, get that trust, so that then you can move on to the other activities and have lots of fun because everybody will be engaged and invested in the day's activities. So, have fun with your questions of the day and stimulate that conversation. All right, let's transition into our next activity, getting the goods. Getting the goods, just what it sounds like. Someone's going to try to get the goods. So we again want our students in the classroom to get to know you, be inspired by your education, or that you're at UCLA and you're studying. So remember that as we move on to this activity, it's about inspiring, going on to college. So getting the goods is our next energizer. So the goal is to allow our students to get to know their UCLA mentors. Again, allowing our students to get to know you, a UCLA mentor. So to get things going, we want to divide your room, divide the classroom based on the number of UCLA mentors in the room. So let's say you have a class size of 30 and there's 3 mentors in the room, then there will be 1 UCLA mentor per 10 kids. So you would have 3 groups, 1 UCLA mentor per group. So that's the goal at the end of the day. So however you slice or dice it, you want to make sure there's 1 UCLA student per group of kids because they're getting the goods. And so they need a UCLA mentor on their team in order to get those goods. All right, so 1 UCLA mentor per team. Next, you're going to distribute some butcher paper, just some plain old butcher paper that we'll have, for you ahead of time, and then some markers. You'll have a couple of, colorful markers that you can give to the students as well. Next, you're going to ask your students to draw like a gingerbread man outline. And so let me clear that up. A gingerbread person outline, all right, that's supposed to be representative of you. So they create a gingerbread person outline, and I'm going to show you an example. Now, if you've got some really good artists in the room and they want to, put some hair and some ears or whatnot and do something that's more, realistic or lifelike, they can do that as well. But if they're not the best artists in the world, a gingerbread person outline will do. Next, you're going to explain to students that their job is to illustrate interesting facts about you, the UCLA mentor, and assign it to a place on their body. So again, they should be asking you questions and then decorating or illustrating on their gingerbread person interesting facts about you. And then, assigning it to a place on their body. So, like here, I've got the feet, a cool fact, the hands, an interesting fact, the head, an interesting fact, etc. All right, so that's basically it. The students are going to ask you a series of questions and then, fill in their outline with interesting facts. So let me show you an example. So here is an example for you to see. so here is a gingerbread person outline. Yes, I know they look like a little star, but they have a UCLA t-shirt, so that definitely means that there's a UCLA student on that team. And this young person put SMART for studying medicine, so they have a little arrow near the brain. They have another arrow near the brain because they felt that their UCLA mentor was smart, and that's how they got to UCLA. Again, as I said earlier, they study medicine, and they said this person wants to be a surgeon, so they're good with their hands, etc. If in the event your kids are struggling with questions, we have some questions there for you, like why did you choose UCLA? What is your major? What are your talents or attributes? How did you choose your major? How many years have you gone to school? What is your dream career? Do you live on campus? Etc. Are you part of a club or an org? Etc. So if your kids are struggling, maybe you can kind of spoon feed the questions a little bit so that you can answer them and get their minds thinking so they can ask some great questions about you. Alright, so what they're doing in essence is getting the goods. They're trying to get as much information about you as possible. So don't forget to inspire that higher learning, that going to college, maybe even just going to UCLA and how they can get there. So that's getting the goods. I like everybody who. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to our next energizer, I like everybody who. And really it's just to get the kids a little more comfortable with each other as they start to explore the things that they have in common, their similarities, etc. So it's very similar to musical chairs where there's going to be one man standing and everybody's kind of fighting for a seat. So I know you guys know that, just to give you a little context. But let me explain to you exactly how to play this fun energizer. So you're going to ask your students to sit in a circle, so you need chairs, so they're going to sit in a circle, so they can either, move their chairs and make a nice big circle, move their desks and create a circle where all the noses are kind of touching in a circular format. Now if the class is too big, keep that in mind, you might want to split them up into two smaller circles. So a little round group over here and a little round group over here, like two little crop circles. But you will definitely need a mentor standing in between those two circles. So I'll explain that a little further. So a mentor stands in the middle of a circle of students that are seated in a circle. So as you see here, I have my little X's, those are the kids, and there's you right there, a little stick person standing in the middle. While you're standing in the middle, you're going to call out a sentence, and then you're going to fill in the remainder of the sentence, the tail end of the sentence. But this is the formula. I like everybody who. So everyone who's in the middle, who ends up being the caller, will start the sentence with I like everybody who, and then they fill in the blank. So let's say I'm the caller and I'm standing in the middle of my kids who are seated in a circle. I would say I like everybody who likes pepperoni pizza. Alright, so that would be my filler. That's how I would complete the sentence. Okay? Afterwards, so once I, shout out, I like everybody who likes pepperoni pizza, the students with the same like will switch seats. Alright, so the students with the same like will switch seats. So, me, the person in the middle, just like in musical chairs, I'm fighting for a seat as well. Okay, so just like, musical chairs, the person in the middle is also fighting for a seat as well. Alright? So, the students will, get up, they'll try to find a new seat, and then whoever's left standing becomes the new caller. But I want to give you two important rules, alright? Two important rules. Okay, you cannot stay in the same seat, so let's say I like everybody who likes pepperoni pizza, and I've got a young person right here. They can't just sit there and say, oh yeah, well, stand up and then sit back down and, make that count as a move. They have to actually get up and move. They also cannot go to the seat next to them, so they can't sit to the right or sit to the left. It only leaves one option, and that is going across. Alright, so across, directly across. Alright, so your two rules. You cannot stay in the same seat, and you can't move to the seat next to you. Alright, you got that? Same seat, or the seat next to you. Alright, let's give it a quick test drive, because I'm sure you'll be able to visualize it a little better if you see it in action. So I'm going to come on over here to our little group of middle school students, and I'm going to start off with, hi guys.
Hi.
Do you guys like pizza?
Yes.
Alright, that's not my I like everybody. Alright, I like everybody who likes frozen yogurt. Oh.
I like everyone who likes In-N-Out.
I like everyone who likes to travel.
Oh, but I can't go Alrighty, see, ladies and gentlemen, that's I like everybody who. Alphabet Scavenger Hunt, our next fun energizer. All right, Alphabet Scavenger Hunt is just fun. It's a scavenger hunt right in the classroom. Doesn't need, you're not required to go outside or whatnot. You can have fun right there in the classroom with the kids. Alphabet Scavenger Hunt is pretty simple. This is how you're going to facilitate. You're going to break your team into 4 or 5 groups. Again, break your team, your classroom into about 4 or 5 groups, just depending on how many youth are there. Right? Whatever really makes sense, it feels like it's going to be a good balance and productive, so think about that. 5 probably max, 4, would probably be your smaller on your lower scale, but 5 max. And then you're going to distribute just some good old-fashioned, regular, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and a marker. That's it, pretty simply. That's all that it requires, a piece of paper and a marker. It can even be a pencil. And then you're going to ask your students to write the alphabet vertically on the right side. So you're going to write the alphabet vertically on the right side. So just right here, as closely as possible, A to Z, so that there's all this blank space over to the left. All right? So I'm going to do it really quickly, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I'm not going to go all the way to Z, but that's just basically what it looks like. I'll kind of zoom in a little bit so you guys can see that. And that's it. And then you're ready to rock and roll with this activity. So after you've asked the students to write it down, and you're going to tell them now, we're going to get into a fun competition where we have to find items in the room that start with that letter of the alphabet. Again, so it's a competition. So if you have 4 or 5 groups in the room, they're competing to see who they, how they can finish the fastest, or who can finish the fastest, I should say, by finding items in the room that start with that letter of the alphabet. So here's my little EG. Let's say it's A, and there's some art supplies. So A for art supplies. Let's say it's B for book, and they find a book in the classroom, so B for book. Let's say the next one is C, and there's a cup, and there's a good old great Starbucks cup sitting on the teacher's desk, because she probably needs Starbucks, etc., etc., etc. Now, there are 2 rules, so keep this in mind. Though it's fun, and they're being creative and thinking out of the box and finding those items that start with that letter of the alphabet, there are 2 things they must not do, or they cannot write down, or don't count, I should say. No book titles. So let's say they get to H and there's a Harry Potter book in the classroom. They can't say, the Harry Potter book counts for H. They actually have to really find something that starts with the letter H. And then no body parts. They can't say, oh, E because there's an I in the classroom, or A for arm, or F for foot, etc., etc. So no book titles and no body parts. So get ready, set, go, Alphabet Scavenger Hunt. All right, hammer or nail, your next fun energizer. The kids love this one because you can get them out of their seats and they get moving around. They get to use their imagination, etc. Very similar to 4 corners or cross the line, where you're throwing out some choices to the participants in the room, and they're making a choice, and then you're asking them to elaborate, like why did they make that choice? That's it, pretty simply. Throwing out some options, some choices, asking the students to pick one, and then sharing, like, why did they make that choice, all right? So in this one, hammer or nail, you're splitting the room up into 2 sides. Again, 2 sides, a right side and a left side. Then you'll assign whatever that category is, those 2 choices. One side of the room will be hammers, and the other side of the room will be nails, okay? So you'll split the room into 2 sides. You'll ask the students to stand in the middle, so they'll all congregate in the middle. And then you'll throw out the options, those 2 options, and you'll say, okay, if you're a hammer, stand on the right side. If you're a nail, stand on the left side. So make sure before you kickstart this activity that you're making sure that the kids are using their imagination. So tell them it requires you to use your imagination. Be a little open-minded, and let's have a little fun and make a choice. So I want you guys to kind of see how it plays out, because it's really simple, but again, an all-time favorite of our kids. So why don't I have our actors come back in, our middle schoolers, who are all taller than I am. All right, so there's a list in your packet. There's a bunch of lists of options for the kids, like the hammer or nail. Are you a child or an old person? An egg white or a yolk, etc. UCLA mentors, those of you who are not the facilitator, I ask that you guys jump in on the fun, all right? So you guys might want to look at this and start thinking about your answers. All right, are we ready, middle schoolers?
Yes.
All right, so I want to stir it up a little bit. Let's see here. If you're a Bruin, stand on this side. If you're a Trojan, stand on this side. Oh, let's see here. All right. So Bruin, why'd you choose Bruin?
My parents went there, so I gotta choose UCLA.
Oh, cool. Your parents went there. What'd your parents study? Do you know?
Math, actually.
Math.
Yes.
Wow. Are you good at math?
No.
Oh, we have something in common. All right, Trojans. Kawana, why'd you choose Trojan?
Well, I grew up visiting USC a lot when I was a kid, so I always wanted to go there.
Oh, nice. So are you from Los Angeles?
Yes, I am.
Oh, wow. How cool is that? Is there anything else you like about the USC campus since you got a chance to go visit?
I like the campus, how big and beautiful it is, and I also like the students. They seem really friendly.
Nice. So you think that beautiful campus inspired you? Yeah, made you want to go there? How cool is that? See the benefit of going on field trips? All right, let's circle back up in the middle again, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so I'm going to do school teacher, college professor, school teacher, college professor. All right, so Patty, why do you want to be a school teacher?
I enjoy being around kids.
You enjoy
Yes,
kids?
I
How
do.
fun. Do you have any young ones in your life?
No.
No? All right.
adults, all full grown.
All adults, have you ever worked with kids before?
Absolutely, yes.
Cool, very cool. All right, my college professors. Melissa, why college professor?
Because I like working with young adults. I think they're really inspiring.
They're inspiring. How about for you, Natalie?
I had a lot of fun in college, and I think it's a cool age as well, so.
Nice. So you went to college.
I did.
Wow, you must be really smart if you're in middle school and you went to college. Good for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hammer or nail? All right, the pause game. The pause game, one of my favorite activities because it really helps improve communication skills. So UCLA mentors, you might appreciate this one, might have a little fun having some competition in your dorm rooms. But the pause game is about eliminating verbal pauses. Eliminating verbal pauses. So what a great skill to develop at this age, at middle school, eliminating those verbal pauses. So here's how this activity is facilitated. Again, one of my favorite. It's a competition, only 2 students at a time. So 2 students at a time will come up to compete. So very similar to Family Feud, you have 2 opponents come up and they face off. And this is what's going to happen next. You're going to call out a subject and the students will take turns talking about that subject for 2 minutes. So again, they will take turns. So let's say student A would throw up that subject. They'll try to talk without any verbal pauses for 2 minutes. If they're successful, they stay. If they're unsuccessful, they take a seat and a new opponent comes up. Again, they have 2 minutes to talk as long as they can without messing up. And again, if they're successful, again, they get to stay. If not, they sit down and a new student comes up. But let's talk about those verbal pauses before we give it a shot or we give it a go. So students off camera, I want you guys to help me. So I want to explain and articulate clearly what are those verbal pauses. All right, so these are the words or the pauses they must eliminate. They cannot use these. So let's try it. So no, oh, that was really loud and great. No, 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 like, no, you know.
You know.
All right, very good off camera, my actors. So they can't go like, you know. So all those things that we probably all do every day when we're talking to others, we want to get them to try to eliminate those verbal pauses and really have full, robust, complete sentences whenever they're talking to each other. All right, again, if a student is unsuccessful, a new opponent takes their place. So let's give it a shot. Let's give it a try. May I have 2 students come up here? Who are my 2 fabulous students? All right, what's your name?
Melissa.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi.
What's your name?
Kawana.
Hi, Kawana. I already know your names. All right, so let's give it a shot. I'm going to throw out 2 topics. Who'd like to go first?
I will.
You'll go first. Great. You have 2 minutes. All right, Melissa. You got 2 minutes. Are you ready? Set. Your favorite food. Go.
My favorite food is Thai food because I really enjoy spicy food and they have a lot of spicy noodles. I also enjoy when we go to a sit-down restaurant how they have different variety of noodles and different...
She said, so Melissa's out. So, just for the purpose of this demonstration, I'd have a new student come up, All right, now Kawana still has a chance to stay up here and be the champion and hold the lead. All right, Kawana, you got 2 minutes to talk about your favorite food. Ready, go.
My favorite food is Italian. I like it because they have lots of different varieties of things that I can.
So Kawana's out, and then a new student would come up. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. One of my favorite. The kids love it. They're going to keep wanting to go and go and go, but they're having fun. Keep it going. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the pause game. All right, in your ear is our next activity. So just to make sure our kids are listening and paying attention before we move on to our main activities, we've got a fun, well, how would I put it, instructional kind of way of making sure that they're tuned in and that they're paying attention with their ears. So we got an activity called In Your Ear. It makes me laugh because it's kind of a funny activity. So you're going to distribute a worksheet, so each student will have a worksheet, and then you're going to follow the instructions as outlined in your pamphlet or your packet. So the worksheet looks like this. I drew it on a larger scale so you can see it. So it's a blank sheet of paper, and it says In Your Ear worksheet, and then there are 4 boxes, all right? Box 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, once they have it, you'll give a pencil as well to go with their worksheet. You're going to ask them to follow your directions. That's all. So ladies and gentlemen, UCLA mentors out there, don't allow them to ask any additional questions. Just say, look, I'm going to read you some instructions. You're not allowed to ask me any questions. Just, go ahead and do the best you can. Make sure you say that. You can't ask me any questions. I'm just going to read you some directions. Do the best you can. All right? So, in box number 1, there's a little I, a lowercase I. So you'll just ask the students, okay, students, in box number 1, place a dot on the letter I. All right, let's move on. In box number 2, print the word happy in the blank spaces. Again, print the word happy in the blank spaces. Number 3, you're going to tell them a little story. Students, I saw a Papa Bull, which is what the PB stands for, not peanut butter and jelly. A Papa Bull, a Mama Bull, that's what the MB stands for, and a Baby Bull, and that's what the BB stands for, in a barnyard. Which one should not have been there? Circle the one that should not have been there. And that's box number 3. Number 4, there are 4 words in here. There's actually more than that. There's 6 words in there. But you're going to tell them, circle the word that doesn't fit with the rest. So circle the item in here that does not fit with the rest. All right? Tell them to put their pencils down. Now reveal the answers. Now, in number 1, you said place a dot on the letter I. Most students would have dotted the I, but what really their instructions were saying, place a dot on the I. Number 2 said, print the word happy in the blank spaces. Most people would have written the word happy or put the letters on the dashes. They would have placed them on the lines and not in between the lines because that's what it says, in the blank spaces. Number 3 says, tell the students that you saw Papa Bull, Mama Bull, and Baby Bull, which one didn't belong. This one makes me laugh because I didn't know this. But there is no such thing as a Mama Bull, so they should have circled Mama Bull. Yes, I didn't know that. I'm embarrassed to say, but I didn't know that. And number 4 was, circle the word that doesn't fit with the rest. So, you can beat a drum, you can beat a dirty rug, you can even beat a team. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You cannot beat a dead horse. There you have it. In your ear. Scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs, our next activity. A fun activity just like Scrabble, except it's a competition and a relay race. So again, it's a competition and a relay race, but it's all about spelling the longest word possible. And of course, for every letter, if it's the longest word, they get a point. All right. So, you're going to split your team up into 2 teams, or your group into 2 teams. Again, think about class size. If it's a really large classroom, you might want to do 2 rounds. So you might split it up into 4 teams and have, the first 2 teams come up and compete for a couple rounds. And then whoever wins that team, hold them off to the side. And then let the next 2 teams come up, they compete, and then the winning team, they can stay up. And then you can have the other winning team come up, and then they compete against each other to see who's the best team. All right, so think about that. But if it's a small classroom, you can just do it in 2 teams. All right, now, you're going to place a set of alphabets. So you're going to have a couple sets of vowels and alphabet. So one team's going to get a set of vowels, 2 sets of vowels, and 1 set of alphabet. Again, 2 sets of vowels and 1 set of alphabet. Same thing for the other team. So you're going to create these two piles. You're going to have to create two stations. A station to come pick up your letters, and then a station to create your words. So again, each team gets alphabet, 2 sets of vowels, alphabet, 2 sets of vowels. All right, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right? And then you're going to call out a category. And then once you call out that category, one student at a time will run up. One student at a time will run up to grab one letter. All right? One student at a time. So let's say it's me, little Will runs up. I grab an O, I run it back to my team. The next person will go, and they'll grab another letter. Let's say they grab I. And they keep going back and forth. All right? So those are your rules at the end of the day. Longest word wins. One student at a time can run up and grab a letter. So let's give it a shot. I want you guys to kind of see it. All right, students, are we ready?
Yes.
You ready to play some scrambled eggs?
Yes.
All right, here we go. I'm going to call out a category. Again, I'm trying to keep it in the theme of college, but we have some fun ones in here as well, some other fun categories. But let's start off with college major. One student at a time, one letter at a time. Ready, go. All right, looking good, looking good. I'm glad you guys are following directions. I love how you guys are following directions. Awesome, that means in your ear worked out really well. Let's see here, let's see here.
Done.
We're done.
All right, awesome. So the purpose of our video, we'll pretend Team A had the longest word. So Team A, what was your college major?
Math.
Nice, good job. Round of applause for Team A. All right, ladies and gentlemen, go scramble some eggs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your next activity, quick draw. Quick draw. You need magic markers for this one. This one's really fun. It's very similar to categories, so if you've ever played categories, you've got this one. All right, you're going to split your team up into 2 groups. Again, your classroom into 2 groups if you can, if not 4 groups. So keep that in mind, whatever the size of your classroom. All right, then you're going to identify one artist from each group. So you need an artist from each group. Try to rotate it. Try to make sure you give every kid a chance to be an artist. It's fun. It's not about being a great artist. It might be that you're able to draw some great symbols or whatever it is your talent is, but you might be able to get people to the goal without having to be a great artist, just like categories. You'll flip a coin to see who goes first or have them guess a number, whatever that is, how you identify who goes first. Then you'll have the first artist come up. You'll have an envelope with phrases or words. Again, phrases or words. So you're allowed to give a clue if you like to let the teams know, but it'll be phrases or words. So that artist will pull from the envelope, and then there'll be a piece of butcher paper placed in the front. You'll give them a marker so that they can quickly draw, and then they'll draw that phrase or word. All right, so let's make sure we covered it all. Here's some rules. No words or numbers allowed. No words, no numbers, and no talking. No words, no numbers, no talking. My students off camera, what are the no's? No what?
No words, no numbers, no talking.
Oh, I love it. It sounds like a choir. All right. Now, if the team guesses correctly, they earn a point. If not, the opposing team can steal. They don't lose their turn, but they can steal that round's points. All right. So let's say this team got it wrong. I go to this team. Can you guys guess? And if they say yes, they get the point. All right. So each artist has 1.5 minutes to draw, and then the team has 1 minute to guess. 1.5 minutes to draw, 1.5, and then 1 minute to guess, a whole 1 point by itself. All right? I'm going to call a little thespian to come up, so give it a try. Can I get a volunteer? Woo! Cheer Melissa on, she's on your team. All right, Melissa, are you ready?
Yes.
Once you pull it, the only talking you do is let them know if it's a word or a phrase, okay? And then no more talking. Got it?
Got it.
All right, so here's your marker. All right, pull.
Okay, guys. Phrase.
All right, then go. You got 1.5 minutes.
Apple, apple.
Teacher.
Teacher's pet.
All right, come on, guys. What do you think Melissa's drawing over there?
Help.
Take a
Apple
peek
a day
here.
keeps the doctor away.
Very
Oh
good.
my gosh! How awesome is that? Good job, Kawana, off camera. And just so you know, Kawana really didn't know what she was drawing. Great job, Kawana. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A word or a phrase, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes at a time. Split them up into 2 groups, compete, just like categories. It's all about quick draw. Draw. Are you ready, set, go. Are you ready, set, go? Our next fun activity. Very similar to that game show, one of my favorite, Minute to Win It. So teams are competing against each other, doing different rounds of activities. Now keep this in mind, everybody on the team has to go through each challenge, all right? Everybody on the team has to go through each challenge. So in this one, definitely, you want to split the classroom into 4 teams. Split the classroom into 4 teams. You'll have 2 teams come up, compete. They'll go through all 5 challenges. Again, whoever's the winning team, sit them off to the side. Next, the next group come up, whoever's the winning team, and then have your final round, all right? So divide your classroom into 4 teams. 2 teams at a time will compete. Now, mentors, you might want to get ahead of this one. So UCLA mentors, you guys might want to partner up on this one. You're going to have to create separate stations in the room, all right? So it's almost like an obstacle course. They got to run to one station, run to the next station, the next station, the next station, until they get to the last one. All right, so in advance, you want to create your stations in the room, okay? So the first team to successfully complete all challenges, quite naturally, wins. All right, so it's all about speed and agility, who can go really, really fast. So I want to demonstrate the first round. So I've got a station here. Requires 2 cotton balls and a straw. Each student on the team will have a straw, so everyone gets their own straw. And the goal is, using the straw, to blow that cotton ball into a cup. So everybody on the team, again, has to do this challenge. So how about I have 2 of my college students come up, or my middle school students, I should say, come up. Okay, are we ready? Are we ready for our first minute to win it? Using only a straw, you got to blow that cotton ball into a cup. If it falls off to the side, you got to start back over. Are we ready? Set, go. Cheer your team on, cheer your team on.
Straight, straight.
Go, 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 go. All right, next team, hurry, hurry, hurry. Who can do it the fastest? Let's go, let's go. Let's get through round 1. All right, ready? Go, 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 go. Everybody on the team. They got to start over really quickly. All right, let's go, let's go, let's go. Go, 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 go. Oh, all right, so we'll go on to our next round. All right, now we're up to the next challenge, so we're at our next station. It looks like our teams are neck and neck. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're creating a fantasy name, our name for the future, because we're going to have really odd names in the future. All right, you guys ready? You got to fill in the formula. Okay, using take the first 2 letters of your last name, first 2 letters of your last name, the first 3 letters of your first name. Alrighty, that's your new first name. Now let's work on your last name. Take the first 2 letters of your UCLA volunteer's first name. Let's say his name is Will. And the first 3 letters of the city you were born in. Alright, what's your new name?
Go Pat Willows.
Go Pat, what's your new name?
Sinat Wicklow.
Oh, wow, that's really a all right, next go. You guys are going on to your next station, and that was round 2. All right, while these teams are neck and neck, you guys are doing awesome. So again, every student on the team has to satisfy every round, every challenge, all right? So you guys are at the cup challenge. So their goal is to put this red cup at the top, 1 cup at a time. Red cup must end up at the top, 1 cup at a time. I know it sounds hard, but once you see it, it'll sound easier. It'll look easy, I should say. Ready, set, go, you guys. Go, 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 go. Woo, you're almost there. I see a winner in the midst there. All right, Kawana, go. Kawana runs off, goes to the next station. And there you have it, the cup restack. Man, I gotta tell you, these teams are neck and neck. I don't know what to say here. All right, you guys, now it's a puzzle challenge. Each team has a puzzle they gotta complete. Now this time they can do it as an entire team, not 1 student at a time, so they all can work on it. Are you guys ready, set, go? Go for your puzzle. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the puzzle challenge. All right, we're at our final challenge. This is exciting. All right, there are going to be 2 sets of Dixie cups, 5 and 5. What the team has to do, using only a balloon, so they'll blow up a balloon, and then they got to blow these Dixie cups off the table. So all 5 cups have to end and fall off the end of the table. They fall off to the sides, then they have to start over. Those cups come back to the start line, and they have to get blown all the way to the finish line. So they only need 1 student at a time for this one, just 1 balloon, 1 student at a time, and then that student will try to blow all 5 cups off the table. The remainder of the team can cheer them on, or if the cups fall on the floor, they can pick them back up. All right, this is the final round. All right, students, come up, let's go. All right, are you ready? Set, go.
All right, go for it, come on. Come on, let's go.
Good job, good job. Oh, 1 cup at a time. Oh, that one made it. You got 4 more to go, Melissa, 4 more to go. Good job. final round. Ready, set, go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to do a little reflection as we close out our activity. Hopefully we've had a lot of fun playing our fun energizers and our main activities, and we've gotten to know each other. But we want to do a little reflection. We want to close on a nice calm note and recognize and celebrate what we've learned or what we've appreciated about spending time together. So you're going to ask everyone to stand in one large circle, and again you can have nice one large circle and do a little reflection circle, and pretty much what you're going to ask is, what did you learn about yourself, or what did you appreciate about the day? Again, what did I learn about myself, or what did I appreciate about today? All right, so I'm going to pretend my students are here in a circle, and I'm going to go around in a circle, and I'm going to start off with Patty. Be like, Patty, what did you learn about yourself, or what did you appreciate about today?
I learned to overcome my challenges today.
Very nice. What was your biggest challenge today?
Everything,
Everything?
but my whole team helped me out. So
Nice, nice, very nice. Congratulations. All right, Natalie.
I learned that I like working in a team with other people.
Very nice, and I noticed you had strong leadership skills, so kudos to you. Great job. Melissa.
I enjoyed actually working with a team because a lot of times I like to work by myself.
Oh, nice. So there's no I in team, right?
Right.
Very nice, nice. And Kawani, what did you learn today?
I learned that it's really important to encourage the other members on your team and help them feel good about themselves.
Oh, that's very nice. That's you, Kawani. You always want to help others to be their best. Very good. So again, that's our reflection exercise, and pretty much you'll close like that. And if you can reinforce and say some great positive things, that'll be awesome. And with that said, I love quotes. So here's a quote to think about that. So if you're really trying to encourage and inspire our kids about going on to college or being the best that you can be, here's a quote for you to keep in mind, something that you can marinate on before you guys get out in the field. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, and do more, then you are a great leader. It's Will, signing out.